We are just 6 hours away from 2026, but some are already starting off the new year with major healthcare cost increases. We talk with some who will be paying more starting tomorrow. Then we head to Monroe for a time-honored tradition as they celebrate 20 years of dropping the cheese in line with the Swiss New Year. And then we take a look at the most watched New Year's celebration in the world, how New York is preparing for the ball drop tonight. We welcome you to News 3 Now at 6. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Eric Franke. Sarah is off tonight. We start with our first warn forecast as millions of drivers are hitting the roads for celebrations, not just here in Wisconsin, but around the world to ring in the new year. Meteorologist Blaze Keller is here with what revelers can expect out there in the Madison area.
It'll be quiet out there. Maybe a few lingering snowflakes. We'll take a look at Radar 3000 as well as what the roads are currently like across southern Wisconsin in just a moment. But as we're continuing to maybe plan for our parties this evening, we'll steadily clear out the clouds and cool off as well into those teens by about 8 o'clock. And then as we're ringing in the new year, right around 10 degrees as we say goodbye to 2025 and welcome in 2026. So Radar 3000, no freezing drizzle out there anymore. That was from yesterday. The last of the snow really pushed out of here by about 5:30. A little bit of some light snow maybe off towards Camp Douglas, parts of Monroe County into the Vernon County panhandle there. But for the most part, the heavy accumulating snow has since pushed off into northern Illinois. Roads are looking pretty good for the most part. Again, please make sure that you are being safe out there. There may be some isolated slick spots, partially covered roadways marked in the blue in parts of Sauk County, Richland County, Iowa County, Lafayette as well, Vernon, where maybe some of that lighter snow is falling. So we are expecting more snow as we start off 2026. We'll take a look at just how much we could see in the full forecast.
All right, Blaze, thank you. With those dustings of snow, the city of Madison putting out another plowing update. They say street crews have been dispatched for this evening to plow the main thoroughfares and keep them salted during the snowfall, since it'll likely be below that 3-inch threshold. Residential streets will not be plowed, adding that for tonight, if you plan on going out, give yourself a little extra travel time. Stay slow, patient, and safe out there. Well, the banged up Green Bay Packers get a little help in their secondary, picking up recently waived former Dallas Cowboys cornerback Trayvon Diggs. He's a two-time Pro Bowler who was let go by Dallas just yesterday. Now, he's been hurt much of this year, but could help as the Packers recently suffered injuries to defensive backs Nate Hobbs and Kamal Haddon. It's unclear if Diggs will play this weekend as Green Bay ventures up to play the Vikings. Well, for the third year, the city of Monroe hosted its New Year's Eve cheese drop to help celebrate the holiday. Our Nash Dara is live in Monroe, and he was a part of the festivities just an hour or so ago. Nash, how was it tonight?
Hey, Eric, the third ever New Year's Eve Limburger cheese drop just happened about an hour ago, and it did not disappoint. The main square of Monroe was packed tonight with people helping count down to 2026. A limited budget idea that stirred back up in 2023 became a New Year's tradition in one of the cheese capitals of the nation. The cheese drop that happened at 5 p.m. on the dot correlates to midnight in Switzerland's time zone, whereas cheese is a part of many of their New Year's traditions, as it is just the beginning of some of the events happening all across the state tonight.
It's really important to come out and represent our community as we represent all of these towns. It is quite cold, but it's fun being out here, seeing everyone, seeing all the traditions, the dance team, the cheerleaders are all really fun to watch. It really represents Wisconsin, so it's nice to have it.
The Limburger cheese was not for me, but the event was. So although the square has cleared up behind me tonight, downtowns from all over the world are starting to fill up. So whether you're celebrating New Year's Eve with the New York ball drop or the Monroe cheese drop, we hope you have a safe and happy New Year. From Monroe, Nash Dara, News 3 Now.
Well said, Nash. Thank you. Live in Monroe tonight. And if you really want to see a cheese drop for the new year, you still can, but it's a bit of a drive. The Plymouth Arts Center over in Plymouth, that's just west of Sheboygan, hosting the Sartori Big Cheese Drop from 7:30 to 10, with the cheese dropping right at 10. They'll have music, cheese tasting, and bonfires to keep you warm on a chilly night. Happening tomorrow, millions of Americans will see their health care premiums go up as the Affordable Care Act's enhanced subsidies are set to expire. Lawmakers in Washington failed to pass that extension before the holiday recess. Our Ellie LaLiberte introduces us to one man who will see his premiums skyrocket.
It was shocking.
That shock, skyrocketing healthcare premiums for Nathaniel Lentz.
It's gone immensely up.
He's going from paying roughly $5 a month for insurance through the Affordable Care Act to $581 in January.
If I didn't have the insurance that I have right now, I would not get the medication that I need.
Lentz has cerebral palsy, but isn't on a disability program. He relies on ACA for healthcare coverage.
I'm like very independent. Like my parents said, you're gonna have to learn how to call up the insurance company. You're gonna have to do this.
To maintain his current level of care into the new year, it'll cost him $576 more a month.
It has taken like a real life check of like, what money should I put towards this? I'm like getting groceries. What money can I put towards my rent? What money can I put towards my health care?
Lentz is one of millions of Americans who are losing COVID-era subsidies after Congress failed to pass an extension.
The big shock is coming from the fact that the government is subsidizing less of it. So people have to pay a bigger share of the total cost of that premium themselves.
Justin Sidnor is a professor of risk and insurance with the Wisconsin School of Business.
As part of COVID relief legislation, there was an increase in the amount of tax subsidies people got to help afford health insurance plans on the Affordable Care Act exchanges. So what's happening now is that those enhanced subsidies are going away.
Lentz says he could potentially get more hours at his job to get insurance that way, but isn't banking on it.
I want Congress to make a deal, but I have to look out for myself, and I suggest that everybody else looks out for themselves because you never know what's going to happen.
Affordable Care Act open enrollment runs until January 15th for coverage in 2026. Sidner recommends that if you're on the fence about coverage, to go ahead and enroll. He says if you're forced to drop it later, you can, but if you miss that January 15th deadline, it'll be much harder to get coverage.
Ellie, thank you. 4 GOP members in Congress did sign on to a Democratic petition to force a vote on extending the subsidies for 3 years earlier this month. A vote is expected early in the new year. Well, residents in the village of Marshall, along with the towns of Medina and York, will no longer be receiving services from Sun Prairie Fire and EMS. That starts tomorrow morning, and the agreement has been in place for the last 3 years. Paramedics will turn over coverage to Lifestar EMS at 7 in the morning tomorrow. The Marshall Fire Department says it will continue its 120-year tradition in providing fire and rescue services to the community. Lifestar currently serves West Bend, Slinger, Ozaukee, Columbus, Waupun, Adams, and Rome. Janesville police are issuing a new warning on an increase in scam call reports. Officials say scammers have contacted both businesses and community members pretending to be family members requesting food delivery or home services. Businesses then respond to the home and call the scammer back, who makes a fake money request. Police advise businesses to be cautious if they suspect a scam, and people should never give money, gift cards, or similar items over the phone. Now, those impacted should also just hang up immediately and contact the Rock County Communications Center. That's the number there on your screen, 608-757-2244. Wisconsin's housing market ending the year on a relatively solid footing, even as buyers still face tight inventory and high borrowing costs. Statewide home sales in November were down about 9% from a year ago, but for most of 2025, sales are still up about 1.5%. Prices continue to rise. From last year, they're up about 5%, driven by strong demand and limited supply. Here in Dane County, the picture even tighter. Prices rose about 4.5% in November. Sales dropped nearly 11%. With just under 4 months of supply, experts say it remains very much a seller's market.
So at 3.6 months of supply, that's pretty tight. It has improved since last year. You know, it was 3.5 months last year. This year, 3.6. So that's a very minor improvement, but it has been improving. The tightest market is clearly Dane County. Not surprising. You know, there's an awful lot of employment that takes place in Dane County, and so those markets are pretty tight.
Clark added mortgage rates have eased from their recent peak to a little over 6% in December, while incomes have inched up and inflation has cooled a bit, meaning that combination has slightly improved affordability. We can expect a gradual, not dramatic improvement to continue this next year, with rates possibly drifting into the 5 to 6% range. And U.S. stocks on track to see a third straight year of double-digit gains. Not quite as much this year, but the S&P 500 set to rise 17% in 2025. That's after rising 23% in 2024 and a whopping 24% the year prior, back in 2023. That gain comes despite concerns about tariffs, geopolitical turmoil, nerves about a bubble, and the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. 3 straight years of double-digit gains, relatively rare. It's only happened 5 times since the 1940s. When we come back, we're helping you get ready for the new year. Plus, we have some tips that might help you get around those increasing car costs. Stay with us.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
A rising number of Americans, 28%, now have auto loans worth more than the value of their vehicle. They're upside down, and those high costs means it's more important than ever to extend the life of your car with good maintenance. The average sticker price for a new set of wheels is now over $51,000. That's up $10,000 from 5 years ago. A 3-year-old vehicle will cost you on average about $31,000, up $24,000. Even the cost of repairs has increased by 38% just since 2021. So why does it cost so much more now to repair your car?
Well, cars used to be mechanical, but now they're electronic. And between service intervals, it lasts a lot longer, but it's still electronics are a lot more expensive.
So there are a few ways to make your car last longer and stave off some of those costly repairs. Pay attention to those dashboard warnings. If you see those yellow lights, schedule maintenance. Red, get urgent attention because something could be seriously wrong. Regardless of dashboard warnings, go in for preventative maintenance every 5,000 miles. Check your battery for corrosion every so often and ensure you replace the air filter when needed. Finally, ask your mechanic to show you what they say needs fixing. We're wrapping up the final hours of 2025, and celebrations to ring in the new year are gearing up around the world. But the big party, of course, is in the Big Apple. Countless people watch New Year's Eve in Times Square and around the world. Lee Waldman is in the middle of it all in New York City.
Despite the cold,
we got 4 layers on, feeling good.
The New Year's Eve revelers are fired up.
Happy New Year! It's out of our comfort zone. We just decided we're getting older. We need to start doing things. Do you know? Life passes by so quickly.
From all corners of the world, people are taking in the bright lights and this year's brand new crystal LED illuminated ball. Either ready to stake out their spot in Times Square,
I hear you have to wear a diaper. Looking forward to it.
Or avoid the bustling crowds altogether during the ball drop.
Because it's chaos. There's way too many people, thousands of people.
In addition to the performers, visitors, and New Yorkers alike, the men and women of the New York Police Department are making their presence known during the city's biggest night. Officers, canines, helicopters, boats, and drones will be deployed to ensure a safe celebration.
Times Square is one of the largest and the most complex public safety operations anywhere in the world, and one the NYPD has secured successfully for decades.
As we enter the final hours of 2025, reflecting on the moments that made an impact.
My favorite moment is I met my girlfriend this year.
Spending time with my family and friends.
All like the new friends I've made and all the memories.
We're ready for all that lies ahead in 2026.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! Happy New Year!
In Times Square, I'm Lee Waldman.
And nearly 142 million Americans are expected to travel to celebrate New Year's Eve tonight. That's according to Wallet Hub. The personal finance platform says about 63% of Americans will spend at least $50 on food and drinks to ring in the new year, though those costs soar into the hundreds of dollars in the bigger, more expensive places like New York City. Wallet Hub says Americans usually consume more than 360 million glasses of sparkling wine to toast in the new year. And now we're taking a look at the Big Apple, where those celebrations are really already kicking off, and folks are gathering there as the lights light up there along Times Square in Manhattan. A big night planned there. And still ahead on News 3 Now at 6, Matt LaFleur with a decision on how he will approach their game in the Twin Cities against the Minnesota Vikings when it comes to the injuries and whether he'll play his starters. Our Jason Wilde with an update from Titletown. Then Blaze is back. Your complete first warn forecast. Some snow is flying in our viewing area. He tells us how much it could affect your evening plans. Stay with us.
Well, we are going to be ending 2025 on the cold note. Into the single digits we go for New Year's Eve. Right around 10 or 9 degrees is where we'll be right around midnight. But we'll eventually settle even cooler as we go overnight, with wind chill values just close to 0 or slightly below. Now looking ahead to tomorrow, the start of the brand new year, some light snow moves on in. And then we are actually set to warm on up as we go into that first full week of the new month and the new year. We'll eventually eventually settle into those single digits tonight underneath clear to mostly clear conditions. Winds will be out of the northwest with the light snow that we received not only today but yesterday. That's the reason why we'll have those cooler wind chills as well and why we're cold tonight. We got the clear skies, the fresh snow, and some northwesterly winds. Those northwesterly winds keep us cool as we head into Thursday. Also bring down a little bit of snow as well. Much like the last couple of days, don't expect a lot in the way of accumulations. This is coming out of the northwest, so it's not really full of moisture. But as we head further into your Thursday, mainly into the late morning through about the mid to late afternoon, that's when that snow moves on in out of the northwest and moves on out by the time we go overnight into Friday. High pressure moving in out of Canada means that we're going to be quiet as we go into Friday. Winds will eventually turn out of the south as we go further into the weekend, and that's going to warm us up as we go into Sunday and then further into next week. But that high pressure system is going to take its time moving through the Midwest, so expect quiet conditions not only Friday but Saturday as well. Future track snow, that snow moving in tomorrow, only about an inch. As I said, it is going to be light and fluffy, so you don't have to do a whole lot to clear it on out of here, but it will add to what we've already seen over the last day or so. Maybe some spots get closer to 1.5 inches, but overall, this is not going to be a long-lasting or a heavy snow. So we're into the 20s by Friday and Saturday. Sunday, we start to flirt with the 30s, and as we go into next week, we're in those low to mid 30s all throughout that first week of January, maybe doing a little bit of melting there, but with overnight lows in the 20s to low 30s, I don't think the ice is going to go away. It will certainly thin. So please keep that in mind, anglers, if you want to go out on the lakes. Rain snow mix to end the weekend. We remain quiet for most of next week, but eyeing maybe a bigger system to welcome that first full weekend. Oh, no, that wouldn't be the first full weekend. The second full weekend of the new year and the new month. I'm all mixed up with days.
It gets messed up this time of year, but we get through tomorrow, January 1, and then it kind of normalizes a little bit.
Yeah, we can say goodbye to the real cold for a while. I think the 30s will be nice.
All right, be safe out there if you're traveling too, folks. Blaze, thank you. Still to come at 6. Will the Packers be resting some key players just to get them healthy this weekend when they head to Minnesota to take on the Vikings? Our Jason Wilde reports the very latest from Green Bay next in sports.
And now, News 3 Now Sports, brought to you by TDS Telecom.
All right, with the playoffs on the horizon, the Packers making some roster moves to keep their key players healthy and give some others some time on the field. Our News 3 Now senior Packers writer Jason Wilde now with more from Lambeau Field.
Packers head coach Matt LaFleur not giving away too many details of his plans for Sunday's matchup with the Minnesota Vikings in the regular season finale, but it is clear he will be choosing health over preventing rust for his team. The Packers are locked into the number 7 seed in the NFC. They cannot change that. The only question now is, will they go to Chicago to play the Bears, or will they go to Philadelphia to play the defending Super Bowl champion Eagles? Either way, Matt LaFleur wants to play it safe with his roster. That means he'll be having a lot of players who haven't gotten a ton of opportunities this year get some. But that also means that some starters will have to play because there are only so many roster spots.
I think you always put a lot of thought into it, especially, it's an important decision. But I do think, obviously, medical is going to drive some of these decisions for us. It is what it is, and you just got to make the best of it. And then you got to make, collectively, the best decision, what you think puts your team in the best position possible moving forward.
Now, amid all those injuries, the Packers made several moves with their roster. First at quarterback, while Jordan Love remains in the concussion protocol. He did practice in full today, but he and Malik Willis with a shoulder injury, their status is uncertain for Sunday. So not only did they promote Clayton Tune, their third-string quarterback, to the active roster, they also signed Desmond Ridder, a former starter for the Atlanta Falcons. On top of that, with lots of injuries at cornerback, the Packers claimed and received ex-Dallas Cowboys cornerback Trayvon Diggs, a former All-Pro and Pro Bowl player and a former teammate of Micah Parsons. He should help them in the postseason as well. We'll have full coverage leading into Sunday's game between the Packers and the Vikings, a game you can see right here on Channel 3 at noon on Sunday. And we'll cover the game in person at US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis on channel3000.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for our Packers newsletter, which delivers that coverage directly to your inbox every single day. In Green Bay at Lambeau Field, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
And we really like to emphasize this factor. A programming reminder, Sunday's matchup between the Vikings and Packers, as Jason just said, right here on WISC TV3 from the comfort of your couch, nice and toasty warm, just like the Packers. They'll be indoors. Kickoff set for noon at US Bank Stadium. It will warm up a little bit, though, right, by Sunday?
Yeah, so if you're going to head up there, I don't really see any weather-type scenarios really impacting that, but as you said, they'll be indoors.
Just watch on the couch at home on Channel 3.
You'll be nice and warm here in southern Wisconsin. We're looking at the 20s for the next couple of hours, teens and clear skies while we get to about 10 o'clock, and there it is, midnight. A nice 10 degrees underneath clear conditions, and you can always find the latest road conditions on our website too before you hit the town this evening again. Please stay safe out there, ringing in 2026, 20s on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, a rain snow mix, and then we're in the 30s for next week.
For sure, bundle up. Still some little patches out there that are a little slippery, so everybody be safe out there if you're going out reveling tonight to celebrate the beginning of 2026. Thanks for watching News 3 Now at 6. Coming up next, Entertainment Tonight. Our next newscast at 9 tonight. Have a good one. Happy New Year.